And I say good morning to all of you, and certainly we want to thank you for your presence here today. The question is, what brings us here today? Well, we thought we had things under control. But in the week, we should have been giving thanks for the many blessings bestowed upon us. Racism raised its ugly head one more time. This time, they hit their target by burning a cross about 8 feet from Mr. and Mrs. Williams' fence and used that ugly N-word. You mean to tell me in 2023 we are unable to live in peace in our own retirement home without being harassed by bigots who don't look like them? You tell me, Mr. Tim Scott, there is no racism in America. No racism? Maybe, Mr. Scott, you'll wake up one day. Now, what troubles me today is we have not heard a word concerning this matter from our governor, ex-governor, and other elected officials. Now would be a good time for them to pass the hate crime bill, which should have been passed immediately after the death of their colleague. Pastor Preachers, we have not heard from you either. You came out against the gay and lesbians. Do you not see sin in the way that Mr. and Mrs. Williams are being treated? I thought some of you, and I know most of you, who born before me, back in the 50s and 60s, we went through a whole lot of this same thing. The question today is, how much more can we take? I don't know about you, but I'm tired, sick and tired. Now, this stuff that we put to death many years ago surfaced one more time. Stuff that we thought that we had buried, but we must have buried it alive. So now we call upon all citizens of goodwill to join us in calling on our elected officials to pass the hate crime bill. It was a cross on the 24th of November. What was going to be next? The rope or a bullet between their eyes? We can't wait to see something before we do something. My brothers and my sisters, we got work to do, and every one of us ought to join the NAACP in our efforts to stamp out racism wherever it raises its ugly head. So we want to thank you again for coming and sharing with us on this press conference.
Good morning. I'll be very brief. I am here, and I think most of us are here today in support of the Williams family for the horrific experience that they've had. That experience wasn't just felt by them. It is felt by everyone of color, everybody who's been disenfranchised, set aside, rebuked, and scorned. I never thought that I'd see this in 2023, but here it is again. We're here in support of our law enforcement, who are using all of those tools made available to them to make certain that this kind of act does not reoccur in Horry County or in South Carolina. Finally, we are here in support of a hate crimes bill being passed by our legislature. It is time. We are the 48th, we would be the 49th state in the union to pass such legislation. And if there ever was a time, the time is now.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Hill, Chief of Police for the Horry County Police Department. And on behalf of the Horry County Police Department, Horry County government, and good citizens of Horry County, these acts are strongly condemned by all of us. We stand in support of the Williams family and anyone else who's been victimized by hate. And the Horry County Police Department, law enforcement across the state of South Carolina will do what it can do to prevent this in the future and to address these issues as they arise. We thank the NAACP for their support, the community, faith-based community that's here as well, and together as a community, we will stamp out hate. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Philip Thompson, the sheriff here in Horry County, and I also want to emphasize that we just can't have hate in our communities. And what occurred in this unfortunate incident that happened, this is not our community. This is not the community of Conway, the community of Horry County, and I feel like the state of South Carolina, but I know I can speak for us. We also encouraged the passage of legislation for the hate crime bill. I think it's made it through the House and it's now in the Senate, if I understand correctly, and we will be expressing our thoughts to our legislators on that. Our law enforcement community in this county stands firmly together with each and every agency and department that we have here in Horry County to make sure this doesn't occur again, or if it does, we ask our legislature to give us the tools that we need to be able to enforce this incident. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Cedric D. Blaine Spain, member of the task force for the 7th Congressional District for the NAACP. We'd like to thank Madam President, Vice President Neal, the entire officers from the national down to the branches of the NAACP, to the Horry County Police Department, Horry County Sheriff Department, FBI, SLED, and all of those that have joined in to stand with the Williams family. Thank each of you. And we came today to say we stand with this family, to let South Carolina, to let Conway know we will not tolerate these kind of acts. It is very disheartening as I think about years ago hearing the stories of cross burnings when so many of our family members were the first black in this county. And because Caucasians hired them, they had cross burnings in their yard to protest the hiring of blacks in this county and in this city. We are better than this. We can do better than this. Just earlier this year, there was a burning at the beginning, the historic Whittemore Elementary School. Then we find ourselves at the end of the year with a cross burning. All of these are hallmarks of hate, racism, destructive intimidation to say we don't like your blackness, we don't like that rich melanin in your skin, but we here to say we are shaken, but we are not moved. We will stand resilient in this county, in this state, in this municipality, and call upon the General Assembly of South Carolina as you begin your session in January. Let it be paramount that first week of business to pass the hate crime bill, getting it over to the governor's desk to sign the Senator Clemente C. Pinckney hate crime bill into law in South Carolina. Those, and Reverend Dr. Floyd referenced it, just a few months ago, we saw so many protests and a proclamation calling for the love of those that may have different opinion, persuasions of life. But we heard nothing from these same religious folks and others about a cross burning. That is the hallmark of the Ku Klux Klan movement. Conway, we are better than this. We are better than this. What affect the Williams family directly affect us indirectly. So we stand resilient. We said we're going to let our voices be heard. We're going to stand up. We step up as a people, joining together as that true melting pot of diversity to say racism have no place in this county, in this state, in this nation. We rise up. We take our rightful place. We rise up amid all the things anybody can muster up against us to say thank God for the true and proven NAACP still standing up for civil rights and social justice. We will not take down. We will not tolerate it. We are people of love and nonviolence. We move, and we say to you today, America, we've been in the spotlight for something negative, but we coming back with something positive. Thank you so very much.
Again, good morning. First, I'd like to thank all of the speakers, Reverend Spain, Dr. Floyd, Sheriff Thompson, Chief Hill, the support of our solicitor, Jimmy Richardson, Mayor Blaine Bellamy, today we have a message from the family, and I'd like to read that first and make a couple remarks afterward. The family of Monica and Sean Williams sent a message this morning because they didn't want to be a part of not the conference, but of the atmosphere that's been created because of the cross burning in their adjacent to their home. The message said, thanks so much to all of the world for supporting us with trying to process the horrific event, a cross burning. Imagine burning a cross in 2023. So hurt, so sad, and such a setback in time. We are still hurting and drained mentally and emotionally from this happening to us. Our family is praying optimistically for justice with hope that the hate crime bill will pass. Passing the bill will be a benefit to many. We hope and pray that an understanding of acceptance will come of all of this and realize that hate has no place in South Carolina. Thank you, and please keep sharing our story. Peace, love, and blessings to all, unquote. I say to you, it should not be another Clemente Pinckney. There should be another George Floyd, another Arbery Taylor. These things should not be happening, but we know it will happen. Our message is, together, we are stronger. From the city police, county sheriff, mayors, resolutions that was passed, to the adjacent counties and cities, ordinances that was passed on hate, we say hate no more in South Carolina. We ask the General Assembly not to be the last this time. Even though you're 49th, do not be the last. The opportunity is here again in January. The hate crime legislation have passed through the House. It never got voted on in the Senate. So we asked the Senate this time to move that legislation forward so our governor, McMaster, can sign it. So we can have a hate crime where we don't have to bring in federal authorities and take up so much money, assets, and time just to say hate no more in Horry County in South Carolina. I'm going to be preceded by our state president, our gracious president, President Brenda Murphy, state president of South Carolina NAACP. Thank you.
I'm going to start by stating one of Martin Luther King's quotes, because I think it's something we need to think about every single day. And if we do, and we are reminded, then I think what will happen is this world will begin to change. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You need to keep that in mind, because if you look at what has happened over the years, not only in Conway, South Carolina, this state, but nationally, things have changed significantly. And it's all because we do not care about each other the way that we should. You should go to the schools, and I know some of you do, and you watch small children and how they interact with each other. They don't bicker, they don't argue. They learn these behaviors as they get older. They are taught by older adults. We need to get back to where, not all the way back, but when things were better, because I think things improved for some people, and what they decide, well, I'm doing well, so I can sit back and I can relax and not be concerned about what is going on. And that has contributed to our society becoming what it is today. We cannot depend on the police to do everything. We have to help too. We have to support them in their work. We need to be aware what it is we can do in our communities in order to make it safer, to make it better. I'm going to tell you, I was disappointed when I heard about Conway, South Carolina, from somebody in North Carolina. I didn't even get the message from somebody here. It came back to me from the family in North Carolina that just happened to know a relative that I have that's also a member of the NAACP. You need to know what's going on in your community. You need to deal with what's going on in your community and work toward making your community a safer place. I've heard comments about, well, I'm glad something happened, but we look at what has happened to this family. Right now, they're in this place, fearful. There should have been an uprising in the neighborhood about this situation long ago. Not just now, not just now. All of you play a role in terms of what happens in our community. I ask you to be responsible, to do what you need to do, to call your representatives, let them know, even though it shouldn't be necessary. But right now, it's necessary to have a hate crime bill here in South Carolina. The other thing is, Conway, you didn't have to wait for South Carolina state legislators to do it. Some counties have done it themselves. So stand up. Stand up. Local business can be taken care of by local people. Take care of your people, care for each other, and I'm going to close. Well, first of all, let me thank everybody that's here. I truly appreciate you being here, being present. I wanted to come earlier, but I wasn't able to come until today because I wanted to speak to you and let you know that it's important that we care about each other, and if we care about each other, then we wouldn't have the problems that we have today. Now, when situations come up like this, you need to know it can be very dangerous because you don't know what's going on in the minds of other individuals. And I'm going to quote a little piece of the paper that somebody made a comment about. Well, she was off her medicine. She only has to take it 2 days and she'll be okay. That's not true. If you know anything about the condition that was mentioned by a family member, medicine doesn't affect you in 2 days for the condition that they talked about. And we have to worry because of what was stated. You don't have to be concerned about that person too, because it sounds like something is not right. And people can be persuaded by looking and listening at social media and be persuaded to do things because of their thought processes not being exactly right, and somebody can be hurt. Somebody can be hurt. So this is not a light situation here. It needs to be dealt with because we don't know what's going to happen, and it may not be that family. It may be you, or you. And I'm going to close again by saying an injustice anywhere is, and it will be an injustice to everyone. An injustice to anyone or any circumstances will result in an injustice to everyone. Look at your history. Look what has happened over the years. Study it. Study your history. Thank you.
I think that's the end of our statements, but we'll be subject to questions by the press. President Murphy.
Are there any questions? Yes.
April Garner Davis from World Community Magazine. What will be the next steps after this press conference for the family, but also to continue the momentum to push towards state practice?
I think it was mentioned earlier. We need to contact our representatives. We need to stay engaged. Don't just let this be forgotten. We need to be engaged all the time. City council, county council, in terms of our state representatives. We need to be in touch, engaged, know what's going on in the State House, and let your voices be heard. You just can't not pay attention to what is happening. Stay engaged. And that message needs to be communicated out in the communities. Any other questions? Well, I know, yes, some counties did pass the hate crime bill themselves. They didn't wait on the state because they felt it was important for that to be done. Yes, it takes time to get things done, but I think what you can do locally until that's done, you need to do the work to get it done here, not only in Horry County, but other counties as well. You know, I'm not just talking to Horry County, but we need to do what we can to make sure people are safe. Everybody deserves to be safe. All people. Any other questions? No questions? No comments? Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you for your time for coming out. Thanks to everyone, the press, and those. But please share the message, because hate anywhere is an injustice everywhere. So remember that family, the Williams family. Support them. Support all families that's being distorted and that's being discussed by hate. Hate has no place in society. It is unhumane. It's taught. You're not born hateful. It's a choice, love or hate. And it starts at the root. We ask everyone to continue to support us, support the NAACP and those other organizations that actually move towards change in society, and these things that create ills that cause situations like this to happen. Again, thank you to Chief Hill, those police force, Sheriff Thompson, and those that came out and really supported that family and continue to to support that family. And we look for that to continue. That family is devastating. I can't say enough about that. It's your family that we are talking about. It's your family, because you are next. You are next, and you're not the exception. You're the inclusion. Remember that. God bless you.
Yeah. Let me mention one other thing. You know, we talked about local laws, but remember, the FBI is there. Until you get your the hate crime bill passed, and you will, I'm sure you're going to work on that, and it will be done. The FBI can be notified if you experience a situation that you think is racist in nature. The FBI can be notified, and I want everybody to remember that, because this information, you know, right now that's the only option you have. So until then, make sure you contact the FBI. Mr. Marvin Neal is the regional coordinator. Dr. Floyd is the president right now of the Conway branch. And we will be getting some information out to you regarding how to contact the FBI, because we need to do that so people will know if they experience problems that are discriminatory in nature or racist in nature, then they will know how to contact the FBI. I'm going to say now, you know, yes, I'm concerned about the family, but you know what? We got to stand up, folks. We got to stand up. Keep backing up, we're gonna be back where we were. Stand up. Don't let anybody keep you out of your property. Nobody. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Oh yeah, again, thanks Chief Long from the city and SLED and the FBI. But don't bypass your city law and county law officials, because that is your safety net. That is your safety net. The city and local law enforcement do not bypass them, because President Murphy said, contact the FBI. That's the alternate. That's the only approach now to dealing with the hate crime bill, is the FBI. And it's sad that we have to say that. That means how critical it is when this legislation come back to the floor of the Senate. You must be on board, and you must step up to the plate, and you must be at the State House. The message will come out. So please come out again and again and again until that law is passed. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you gonna take it?